I attended Unilag. And later on, Unilag says no. He now said, oh, no, actually, it was LASU. They pretty much did the same thing. So he claims to have attended the University of Chicago. And then afterwards said, oh, no, it was Chicago State University. I've never heard of anyone making such a mistake before. And, so barrister Mike Enahoreba decided to do his own investigation into this. And using that law firm, he was able to get a subpoena issued to Chicago State University, to Southwest College, also known as Richard Daley College, which Tinubu also claims to have attended, as well as to the places he claimed to have worked at, such as Deloitte and Anderson Tax. And the response to these subpoenas made up the basis for the story that I published in November, because I was able to get hold of these things exclusively from him. And the story was titled, "Has Bola Ahmed Tinubu committed perjury? The evidence says yes." And
thank you so much. It is important we appeal to the man we call Ahmed Tinubu, Bola Tinubu, to please help Nigeria, save us from this psychological torture, save us from this embarrassment, save us from this global disgrace. From magistrate court to high court, now you are going on appeal, telling them you are not in support of full disclosure. Full disclosure of what? They should hide the gender. The gender is known. You see, all that Atiku is asking for, let it be known to you that a Nigerian, David Hundeyin, had already obtained that information.
Part of the educational history narrative that Bola Tinubu had claimed for 20-something years was entirely false. So, for example, the person who supposedly was on file at Chicago State University, the person known as Bola A. Tinubu on file at Chicago State University, the records clearly showed, bear in mind these records were obtained under subpoena, the records clearly showed that the gender of this person was F, female. Right? To the best of our knowledge, the person we know today as Bola Ahmed Tinubu was born a man, has always been a man. So that can only mean that if the person on file at Chicago State University was female, and this person who claims to be that person is male, that means identity fraud has taken place. So that was the most important thing. Some other things that were established were that the supposed Chicago State University certificate, which is submitted to INEC, was not in fact issued by Chicago State University, that this was a certificate that was issued from that was obtained from a cheap online forgery service called diplomamakers.com. And we were actually able to trace this forensically, showing the path from A to B, that this certificate is based on this template from this website. It even has the same grammatical errors on it, the same layout, that sort of thing. So, and this issue was actually taken to court in November 2022. We actually took this to court, went to the Federal High Court in Abuja, and in the typical manner of the Nigerian judiciary, they disgraced themselves. So what simply happened was that the case was not assigned to a judge. Every single judge ran away from it. Nobody took on the case. So it basically timed out.
It's already in public domain. Chicago State University cannot alter anything. Bola A. Tinubu of Chicago State University, female, that is the gender. The whole world already knows it. That may account for the reason US president refused to have one-on-one meeting with you. The more you prolong this matter, the more millions of people will know about it. If this matter has stopped at magistrate courts, so many Nigerians will not even know what's going on in the US. But see, what we have turned Nigeria to, a laughing stock. Nigeria cannot raise her head in the Committee of Nations because of your selfish interest. You must be president at all costs, by all means. It does not matter that Nigerians are dying of hunger. It does not matter that unemployment is getting out of hand. It does not matter that Naira is becoming ordinary paper. Tinubu must be president. The process must be manipulated. Even the judiciary must collapse just for Tinubu to be president. Mr. Tinubu, as we now call you, the gender is known. This irreparable damage is already in place. This severe damage is already in place. It is impossible for you to recover from it. The truth is known. The gender is known. Bola A. Tinubu of Chicago State University, female. The gender is known. Can you end all this appeal and appeal here and there, trying to gain time as you put pressure upon heaven and earth to Atiku Abubakar to withdraw the case? The whole world had already heard about it. Atiku cannot commit the blunder of withdrawing the case. He cannot commit that blunder. Even if he commits the blunder, when will you derive the moral authority to occupy the office of President of Nigeria? What example will you be to our youth? What advice will you give to our youth? Our so-called Tinubu, consider the interests of the nation. Consider our youths that are completely demoralized, completely discouraged. They have nothing to learn from you. Absolutely nothing. Nigerian youths have nothing to learn from the man who is occupying the office of the president. The record stinks. They have nothing to learn from you. Yet, you cannot even recover yourself and say, look, I have been a reproach. I have been a monumental burden, a monumental affliction on my country. I have suffered Nigeria enough. I have wasted Nigeria enough. I have impoverished Nigeria enough. So to redress your step and withdraw, we are going to appeal court against full disclosure. Full disclosure of information already in the public domain. The gender is known. Give us time. Let us recover from the shock of what Mahmoud Yakubu did with INEC. How February 25th election was. Let us recover from the shock of INEC failure and disappointment. This case in US should come to an end. Allow Chicago State University to obey court order. Stop this appeal and counter appeal. It's uncalled for. The gender is known. The information you are saying you don't want full disclosure is already in public domain. May God save Nigeria. How can a nation decay to this extent? No courage, no men of honor, no elder statesmen, no religious leader, everywhere down. No opinion leader. Even former heads of state, former president, none can boldly speak up. Religious leaders are silent. No elder statesmen. Everywhere is silent. Down. What a nation. Our so-called Tinubu, help Nigeria. Help Nigeria. Please help Nigeria. Make sacrifice and help Nigeria. Nigeria has been so good to you and brought you to this extent. Make sacrifice and help Nigeria. God is watching. Thank you and God bless you.